So, making contact. So, your radio doesn't do you any good if you can't make contact with somebody, because that's what they're for. Communication requires two parties, one at each end. Actually, Dave and I can communicate, but that's not going to do me any good if I'm broke down in the woods. Making contact. A typical ham contact is called a QSO, QSO. You have a greeting, you identify who's participating, you exchange information, generally taking turns, but if you're talking to me, good luck. Salutations, end the conversation. So salutations, if you're on HF and you're doing CW, it's a 7-3. You'll hear that on voice on 2 meter 440. It's not appropriate, but everybody does it. 7-3 was just a short way of saying best wishes. But 7-3 was a lot shorter than for best wishes. But everybody uses it. So it's not appropriate, but everyone does.
Ooh, not appropriate.
That doesn't mean you can't do it. It's just...
And it is a norm.
It is a norm, and the old timers are the only ones that really get, ugh.
Yeah, you may get flagged by an old timer, but anybody under the age of 80 is not going to care.
If Steve was been here, no, 80 would have covered Steve.
Yeah,
Okay, before contact, before initiating, listen first to be sure no one else is using the frequency. There's our bright yellow.
Yep.
We know that's going to be on the test. Okay, or the test.
And they push this. Listen first is the operative here.
Yep, listen first. Make sure no one else is using the frequency.
Don't flip the
And then-
frequency and grab the mic and yell.
Then make sure you're in your assigned band, because you can listen all you want outside your band. But make sure you're in your assigned band before you push the button. Then ask if the frequency is in use. And literally, you listen, you don't hear anything, you make sure you're in your assigned band, and then you go, hit the switch and you go, is the frequency in use? Is the frequency in use? If you're calling a specific station and you know the operator's call sign, say the station's call sign, then yours. The way to remember that is you, this is me. A lot of people think it's the other way around. And we can
But
try
the
to
idea behind doing you, this is me, is to get your attention.
Yeah, you throw his call sign out, and sometimes I'll give the call sign to the person I'm calling twice, because the first time they go like, and they might not quite, was that me? Yeah. Oh, yep, that was me.
Most old-time operators, and I'm not certainly qualified, unfortunately, we can have a radio on in the background, and we're not really listening to it unless my call sign pops up.
I'll be watching TV. If you call me, I'm probably got my feet up. My recliner is electric. Probably got my feet up, watching TV with the YL. There might be music on there. You can't have music when you key up. And I hear my call sign. Start running it down. She pauses the TV, and the next thing I know, no contact. I'm like, my feet aren't even down yet. Give me a minute, will you? So don't give up right away. They might be in the kitchen and they go, oh. Sometimes I get on, hey, did somebody call me? Because I get called a lot. Speak clearly and distinctly. Giant party line. Does everybody remember what a party line was?
Yep.
They don't have those anymore. You're one of the few if you have a landline in your house. No politics or religion and no vulgar language. Note, the repeater owner has more authority here than the FCC due to the First Amendment. The FCC is constrained by the First Amendment, but they do have rules you got to follow. But the repeater owner can say, I don't like the word damn. Quit using it or don't use my repeater. And that has the force of law if he sends it to you. So then if you're using his repeater, you're in trouble.
Okay, so how's he going to send you a notification of that?
Oh, he's going to look your call sign up on the ULS and mail it to you.
Even more so, you can get a direct link to somebody's email address.
Yes.
QRZ.
Yeah.
Everybody heard of QRZ.com? QRZ.com. Write this one down. QRZ is one of those websites that is just absolutely amazing, and everybody goes to it. The other one that I want you to write down is eham.com. eham.org?
.com, I think.
I think it's .com. Hang on, let me look it up real quick.
Just put EHAM, you'll find
Yeah,
it.
EHAM. QRZ has in the top left-hand corner a direct lookup to people's call signs. It will tell you everything that the FCC has and their email address, which you cannot get from the ULS. If you go into EHAM and on the green bar that's below the banner, there's a thing called Community there. Under Community, you're going to find something called Reviews. Boy, is that a powerful tool. If you want to know what the ham community thinks of a particular piece of equipment, go look at it.
Hey, I just want to point out, QRZ has international call signs, whereas
Yes.
ULS does not. It just
Right. It's kind of like Facebook for ham radio operators, but not Facebook in any way, shape, or form. You can put pictures of your station and stuff up there, little bio. When I look you up on QRZ, it tells me what direction you are, how far you are, and everything, all kinds of good stuff. What grid square you're in.
QRZ also has a swap meet right there on the banner underneath the
Oh, that I didn't know about.
Yeah, and it's a really good swap meet.
And
It has a search bar. You can look and see what something is sold for.
And don't put your pens down. There's a couple others you want. Hamstay.org, but hamradio.com.
Yes.
That is the ham radio outlet. They've got, I don't know, 14 stores or something like that
Yeah.
across the country. So if you spend over $100 there though,
Then you get free shipping.
free shipping. And the other one is R&L, spelled L, RANDL.com. And when it comes up, it's going to spit over to www2. That's normal. It's shared use frequencies. No one owns a frequency. If you hear a station's call sign followed by the word monitoring, it indicates the station is looking for a contact. Don't use that on the PRA, the Peak Radio Association, which is w7pra.com. And that's got a list of all the repeaters. It covers 6 states and almost all of Oregon. There are dead spots. w7pra.com. I've programmed every one of them into my radio.
Yep.
And I've got it from south to north in order. So as I'm driving up the 5 to Portland or Washington, I can just click one station over in my memory bank. And then I've got the east, the coast and the eastern. This is not universally accepted, but it is a test question. Okay, use of the phonetic alphabet helps ensure messages containing unusual words are received correctly. If you listen to my net, you will quite often hear me say, give me your call sign phonetically, because I'm not getting that one character. Especially with proper names and unusual words. Station identification, FCC 10-minute rule, schedules with other stations. Those are all manners, okay? The only one is phonetic alphabet on that slide. Simplex. Simplex is transmitting and receiving on the same frequency. You're not having any frequency change at all. He's on 14652, I'm on 14652, we don't have any tones.
And Simplex will always be radio to radio, whether it's
Yeah.
handheld to handheld, handheld to base, handheld to mobile, base, or whoever.
And Simplex,
is
if you
always
can,
radio to radio.
and if you can do simplex, it's preferred.
Yeah,
It's
What
the-
about the simplex channels that are listed in the repeater? Are those?
those are
Power.
Simplex, radio to radio.
But are they the signal boosters? Getting it further?
No, they're gonna be my radio to your radio, or is it 146.52 and 446.000?
Yeah.
Look them up and see if that's what you're talking about,
Yeah.
because those are the
I
national call.
suspect that's what you're talking about, is the calling.
Yeah, those are gonna be the national calling frequencies, which we'll cover. So simplex is my radio to his radio. If there's no mountains or other junk in the way, that'll work. If there's a mountain in the way, simplex isn't gonna work, unless I can bounce off a mountain over there and get around it.
So this one here is listed as a repeater at 16.1 miles from here to
Then that's-
TLZXL Road River 439.000.
That's not,
Simplex 503. And this is
UHF Simplex, that is actually in the
No idea.
band section reserved for TV. That particular one is in the band section reserved for television. He's transmitting one-way television signals.
Okay.
okay, yeah,
I was curious what that was.
Yeah.
okay. Simplex channels are designated in the VHF, UHF band plans, so stations within a range of each other can communicate without tying up a repeater. So in the band plan, not this one, but in the breakdown from the ORCC, which is the Oregon region, it's got chunks blocked out for this is for repeater inputs, this is for repeater outputs, this is for simplex, blah, blah, blah.
There are two different versions out there on the ARL side. One of them is just the band plan, and it is that blue sheet that we handed out to all of you guys. The next one is the band usage plan, and the key word there is usage. Look that up, because that tells you this segment of the band is good for this segment is good for that. And it really does break it down, and it does a good job of it, and if we all stick to that, we're all gonna be a lot happier.
The reason we have those is if we do a fox hunt and we're sending out a CW or a voice signal every 30 seconds on a frequency that somebody else has a repeater on, that's going to be a problem. Each user takes turns to transmit in simplex. So I'm transmitting to him. Technically, I'm supposed to say over. He transmits to me. He says over. I transmit back and I'm done. I say out. Okay. It is the preferred method if it works because it doesn't tie up the repeaters. Now we have an abundance of repeaters and a lack of use around here, so you're probably not going to have any issues. But you get into LA or something, they may be packed. In simplex, there is no shift. When I'm not in simplex, if I key up, the number I'm showing in my display, when I key up, the number will jump the standard offset or the non-standard offset, whatever I have programmed in. It'll jump to the other frequency and transmit on that frequency. That is called a shift. There is no shift in simplex. So it's like having a channel 14 walkie-talkie when you're a kid. You're on one channel and you can't both talk at the same time. Use designated simplex channels in the VHF, UHF band plans whenever possible to avoid tying up a repeater. Didn't we just have that?
Yeah, but it's phrased differently.
Yeah, it's phrased differently.
Technician.
146, okay, it's yellow. They want you to know this. 146.52 megahertz is the national calling frequency on the 2-meter band. 146.52. 446 is the national calling frequency on the 70 centimeter band, but it's not on the test. Duplex, transmitting on one frequency while simultaneously listening on a different frequency. That's duplex. That's not a repeater. I'm transmitting on 100 and I'm listening on 200 at the same time I'm transmitting. Okay, repeaters, it says use duplex, not yellow. Output frequency is the frequency the repeater transmits on and you are listening to. That's the one you type
And that's
in.
the way they are listed in.
Yeah,
Repeater.
so when it says it's 147.100 for John's Peak, that's the one you type in. And then you shift from that when you transmit. Input frequency is the frequency the repeater listens to and you transmit on. So input and output is based on the repeater. It's input and output frequencies. Where are they? Find your contacts on a map with a grid locator. Our service is divided into a system of rectangles based on geographical longitude and latitude. Nothing yellow, so I'm going to whip through it. 2 letters and 2-number code identifies each grid square. We are
CN82.
CN82 here. And then it's further broken down into smaller squares if you want.
CN8201, CN8296.
Right, so it's further broken down if you really want to crunch in. There are 488 Maidenhead grid squares with some piece of the continental United States or an offshore rock in them. Making contacts, digital. Digital modes offer massive technological advances and operational advantages, whether mobile or stationary. HF, VHF, UHF, and beyond. Simplex or repeater digital is here. And it is here big time. And digital is capable of sending a signal when you cannot get a voice signal through. So I encourage you to get some sort of digital comms capability. Specific group of stations can be selected on a digital transceiver by entering the group's identification code. It's on the test. And they're really pushing the digital, so likely to get quite a few questions on digital stuff. In a D-Star transceiver, you must program your call sign into the radio before you can transmit. Mesh networks. Some amateurs are now using mesh networks, radio-based data networks built using commercial Wi-Fi equipment with modified firmware.
And what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a really slick little low-power, home-generated, neighborhood use network.
Tracking system.
Exactly. Potentially, yes. Very true.
Okay, mesh network. It's a radio-based data network built using commercial Wi-Fi equipment with modified firmware. So the hackers go in there and they hack it. Hacking's not necessarily bad. If one mesh network microwave node fails, a packet may still reach its target station via an alternate route. So they're all interconnected. The Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network, or ARDN,
Yeah.
is a mesh network. It's a mesh network intended to provide high-speed data services during an emergency or community event. Best made plans of mice and men. We have a natural disaster and the power goes down. None of them are going to work. So don't
This
rely.
one is going to fail.
Don't rely on
It's
it.
a great idea, but it's going to fail.
Yeah. If everybody had their stuff on batteries, it would work. But nobody does that. Okay, FT8. I call this zombie mode. It's a good practice when choosing a transmitting frequency to answer a station calling CQ using FT8. To find a clear frequency during the alternate time slot to the calling station. It's a digital mode, you gotta use it the way it's designed to be used. You can't send a message. It's your call sign, it's your location, your grid square, and calling CQ. And then somebody will hear that, they'll respond with their call sign, their grid square, and a signal report. how will they receive you, and it's automatic. They're not actually typing. They just go like, ooh, that guy. And they hit a button and it does it for them. And then your computer goes, ah, there they are. They respond automatically again. You're just watching it. And it gives them their signal report, your location, I think. If you
And
have
signs off.
and it says 73. And then they send 73 and you're done. And all you did is hit, hey, call that guy. Sit back and watch. And you can say, call CQ and just sit back and watch. Or go get a cup of coffee. Or go to the restroom. Or make dinner or whatever and come back. Oh, got one. Let's do it again. You can get all 50 states in one weekend and spend, what, 3 hours maybe sitting at the computer. That's why I call it zombie mode.